Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, where you can find everything you need for Memorial Day weekend. Fire up the grill with fresh steaks, sweet corn on the cob, and juicy watermelon. Get started at Safeway.com or in the Safeway app.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
Lady Liberty gets a glow-up in Aurora. A 58-foot sculpture installed at Hogan Park off I-70 is a reimagined version of the Statue of Liberty. The piece depicts a shiny stainless steel Lady Liberty in a slender contemporary dress, both arms holding high the torch of freedom. The new sculpture is bigger than Blucifer and may invoke just as much debate. I'm Bazi Kanani. Coming up, Denver switches gears on where they'll buy asphalt material. They call it a moral decision.
It's a tough one, right? Because oil exploration is not great anywhere.
Then, a Colorado city where people aren't allowed to use their water this week.
I had planned to buy flowers for Mother's Day, and I decided not to because I wasn't going to be able to water them.
We'll hear how they're coping and what went wrong. Plus, why you may soon be seeing more micro trucks on the roads in Colorado.
It's a little bumpy. It does feel like you're pretty close to the road.
It's Wednesday, May 14th. Here's the news in Colorado today. City officials in Denver are opting to ship in millions of dollars of liquid asphalt from out of state and out of country. Why? Because they'd prefer not to buy it from the company that makes it nearby. Denverite's Andrew Kenny joins us to explain. Andy, liquid asphalt is that sticky black stuff used in pavement for roads. As you've reported, the city was going to buy tons of it from Suncor Energy, which produces it at its oil refinery in Commerce City, just a few miles away. So what happened?
So yes, you're right. Denver was getting ready to spend $25 million over 5 years to purchase this asphalt product from Suncor. Liquid asphalt, people may not know this, is actually made out of crude oil. It's made at refineries. And so Suncor makes it in Commerce City along with gasoline and diesel fuel and all these other fossil fuel products. You've definitely seen that refinery if you've driven down I-70 through Denver. It's up to the north. But now city council members have hit the brakes on that deal. They say that Suncor's oil refinery is a big polluter in the area, and so they're not interested in doing business with a company that's become kind of a public enemy for many people in Denver. And the council voted unanimously to reject that Suncor contract.
What does Suncor say about this?
Oh, not much. They haven't responded to my requests for comment. I haven't seen them talking about this kind of rejection anywhere in the media.
If Suncor's out, what is the city's plan now?
Well, the city does need asphalt to build and maintain its roads, so it's likely to instead go buy the asphalt from the next lowest bidder. That would be a subsidiary of the Canadian oil giant Cenovus Energy. And so instead of potentially getting the product, the liquid asphalt, from our next door neighbors, it would instead be coming from refineries in Superior, which is in Wisconsin, or Lloydminster, which is in Alberta, Canada. And that product would be transported by rail and end up having this much longer commute. And it would also come with a heftier price tag. Denver would pay about $60,000 extra per year to get that Cenovus liquid asphalt. And council members like Amanda Sawyer say that even with that extra cost, the change is still worth it to them.
It's a tough one, right? Because oil exploration is not great anywhere. But Suncor in particular has had a long history of really terrible pollution of especially our northern neighborhoods and the air quality there. And so I just don't think we should be doing business with them.
So the city is not going with Suncor. What do we know about Cenovus's environmental impact, and where does it get its oil products?
Well, one thing that raised my eyebrows is I know Cenovus operates in that Alberta area, And they get a lot of oil from the tar sands or oil sands, which are a really notorious kind of source of fossil fuels. They're known for being especially energy intensive to extract, and it has a lot of environmental impacts from what I've read. But actually, I asked Cenovus, and they said that their oil that goes into liquid asphalt comes from more conventional drilling oil rigs in the area. So my understanding is that in the end, it's probably pretty similar to the Suncor product. It just comes from Canada instead of from Colorado.
So then, what's the real benefit here?
Yeah, this pavement and asphalt production, we use so much of the stuff. Producing it has climate impacts. Producing it has local environmental impacts. And the city is saying, well, we still need it, but we want to go with this different giant oil company. But this is a way for the city to send a message to Suncor that they just don't like this local oil refinery, that they want it to be run differently. Maybe it'll give them a little leverage in future negotiations over how that refinery in Commerce City is run.
Andrew Kenny, thank you.
Thank you.
When you face a crisis, it's good to know that your community is ready to help.
People have reached out to me from other communities to see if I need to come over for a shower, or laundry.
Michelle Beckman has lived in Manitou Springs for 25 years. It was Mother's Day when Beckman heard that the city was about to limit water consumption to every home.
I had planned to buy flowers for Mother's Day, and I decided not to because I wasn't going to be able to water them.
On Monday, city officials announced an emergency order that only drinking water is allowed. Just shy of 5,000 people live there, and it's a popular place with tourists, but there are now no showers, no watering the lawn, no dishwashing. Businesses also have to limit their uses until the water supply is restored, which could be by the end of the week. Jamie Young owns the Toasted Bistro restaurant.
Today we're working off all disposables, which is a little bit more of a challenge, but I understand what's going on, so we're all doing our part to make it through this as smoothly as possible.
As water restrictions could last for some time, Young is collecting naturally carbonated water from 7 Minute Spring.
I collect the spring water that we're using as our drinking water at the restaurant now.
But even the mayor acknowledges the natural springs are not great water for cooking. The problem started with last week's storm that dumped several feet of snow across the Pikes Peak region. When the snow melted, it ran down, carrying organic material and sediment into the Manitou Springs water treatment plant. The city warned residents that the reserves have dropped at a faster rate than expected. Normally, there's a backup in this kind of scenario. Mayor John Graham says normally they'd buy water from Colorado Springs, next door.
We have 3 reservoirs not too far from ours, basically on the east slope of Pikes Peak, that we get water from when we have to take it. Now, the problem was when they turned the water on Sunday, they found out they had a leak in their pipe in the transmission line.
So now the backup has to get emergency repairs. Graham says the city is trying to get out of this bind. The utilities have been able to treat water.
We are able to treat a small amount of water today. We treated about 150,000 gallons, and that got used overnight.
But it still leaves residents like Beckman to make do.
I kind of grew up when environmentalism was sort of hot anyway, so this is probably too much information, but we learned this slogan in the 90s: if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. I'm sorry, I'm sure that's really gross.
When Beckman tried her local store,
I was hoping to buy some 5-gallon jugs of water, and that grocery store was completely sold out of all the big jugs of the 1 gallon and 5-gallon jugs of water.
Most residents are cooperating with the restrictions, though the mayor says he would impose penalties if people waste water.
Probably what's going to happen is we're going to have a police officer stop in, explain the situation. Education is the first step, and then they would monitor it. And if the individual persists, then yeah, there would be a ticket.
Overall, Beckman says she's happy to see her community pull together, helping the elderly and single moms and kids.
Somebody mentioned that the Pikes Peak YMCA at a couple of locations is offering free showers to Manitou residents, which I think is fantastic. It's great to see the community come together on a subject like this, and we have what we need. We just maybe don't have what we want.
It'll soon be legal in Colorado for you to hop in, rev up a small engine, and take to the roads in an itty-bitty pickup truck.
Yeah, it's a little tight. It's probably equivalent to kind of an economy airline seat, is the tightness that I would say.
Ryan Albarelli in Broomfield squeezes into his Japanese Kei truck primarily for errands and chores.
I use it to haul brush. I use it to go grab wood at the lumber store sometimes.
His micro truck is about the size of a Mini Cooper. Its 3-cylinder, 600cc engine is only about as powerful as a small motorcycle, and it tops out at 60 miles per hour.
It's a little bumpy. It does feel like you're pretty close to the road.
It's also old, which it has to be because federal law doesn't permit newer trucks like this to be imported into the U.S. unless they meet strict safety standards. Albarelli says his little 1990 Honda Acti isn't the brawny truck he dreamed of as a child, but its bed is the same size as a new F-150's, and it's much cheaper.
I could never justify, though, as an adult to purchase a $50,000 or even a $30,000 truck because I just don't use a truck enough. You know, it's like once every month or two I'll want to haul brush and those kinds of things. It's really small and can fit on the side of my house, and it can haul all the things I need to haul.
Albarelli got a title for his Kei truck, but the emissions office told him they wouldn't test it. So he organized online to get other Kei truck owners to lobby their lawmakers.
I got an email from a constituent that really wanted to, he's got one of these on his farm, but wants to be able to take it into town once he gets supplies.
State Senator Nick Henriksen was one of the sponsors of the bill to officially make Kei vehicles road legal in Colorado. It defines how these micro-utility vehicles can be registered and tested for emissions. It also bans them from high-speed interstates.
There's absolutely no reason why they can't be safely operated on city streets or on, farm roads, state highways where the speed limit's 55.
In the past, Kei cars in Colorado have faced opposition from auto dealers and the state patrol. Attempts to legalize them a decade ago failed at the Capitol. But this time, the bill was bipartisan, as lawmakers highlighted their usefulness on small farms and for light contract work in densely packed cities.
Very easy to parallel park, easy to get into narrow job sites.
Colorado is now one of 29 states with laws allowing Kei vehicles on public roads. Our new law goes into effect in 2027. For Albarelli, it's a hard-earned victory.
Passing a law is a tough process. I have a much greater appreciation for people that are able to do this for so many other, more important things, to be frank, that the state has to deal with.
He says it was a lot of work for this little truck. Reporting for today's show also came from CPR's Joe Erickson, Stephanie Rivera, Tony Gorman, Stephanie Wolf, and KRCC's Andrea Chalfin. Our sweepstakes for a trip to Italy continues today. Click the link in the show notes to support future episodes of Colorado Today, and you'll be automatically entered to win a trip for you and a friend. You can enter the trip to Italy sweepstakes with or without a gift. See the details and the full rules at the link. I'm Bazi Kanani. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, where you can find everything you need for Memorial Day weekend. Fire up the grill with fresh steaks, sweet corn on the cob, and juicy watermelon. Get started at Safeway.com or in the Safeway app.